In the 1990s, rave culture hit its peak in Cornwall. The decade was defined by a battle between the police and rave crews throwing illegal parties with large sound systems. South West Underground were one of these crews. 20 years from their last illegal party, founders Luke Harrison and Kevin Viles want to tell their story ahead of a possible return in 2018. So whereabouts are we headed?
So basically, the top car park, well, the entrance car park is where we sort of used to park up, scope out for the parties and stuff. It's pretty much where it's furthest away from all the houses. You'll see when we get there, you sort of enter right onto the dunes where there's bunkers. So we arrived here, it must have been around sort of, it was getting dark, so it was summertime, yeah. So it must have been around 10 o'clock, something like that. We've arrived, we've discovered the police are here, so we walked down, we parked the car on the road, walked down, the police cars were here, they stopped us and said, are you coming for a party? We know there's a party planned, unfortunately we've infiltrated it, we've stopped the party. At this point we've got an ambulance and a van similar to the big van there, with 2 sound systems in, waiting with 2 rigs. They're just waiting for a phone call, so they're parked down the road down there. In the end, we saw the police had decided to go off for a drive or something. They left the site. So when that happens, we said, let's just go for it. So we rang the guys in the van, said, go, go, go. 2 vans pulled up here in this car park that was empty at the time. And we ran up this path here, all with bass bins, amplifier stacks, turntables, and we had to get the whole 2 vans unloaded, up, out of sight by the time the police came back, which we pulled off.
Basically, I got a passion for the music when I was at school, like you do, wanting to go out and things like that, and then progressed from there and got myself a pair of belt drive decks and just started playing at home. Snuck off to my first rave at 15, like you do, and then basically went from there, and I just, great little record shop popped up in Falmouth called Compact Records and Tapes, and we just used to go there literally with every penny we had and just buy all the new vinyls coming out, and you know, I ended up with a bit of a collection. Couldn't really mix that well. Belt drives aren't the best things to mix on, and they were pretty basic, the ones I had. A mate of mine, James, he used to come over and like mix up with me a lot, you know, and he was house DJ, and he got me beat matching properly, and then we went from there, and yeah, basically, you know, the world was my oyster after that. You know, I just kept getting a bit better and a bit better, and more parties started cropping up, and then eventually I started playing a couple, and met Kevin. Me and Kevin did South West Underground and things like that, and there's lots of free parties going on, and also club nights. So I managed to just sneak my way in here, sneak my way in there, blag this, blag that, and in the end I've got quite a few sets. You know, got a bit of a name really, you know.
Cornwall notoriously had early closing times. I mean, the big cities had later licences for clubs. So the pubs used to close at 11, a club might close at 1 at the latest. So people were having a good time, and you just start getting into a party about midnight, 1 o'clock, don't you? So people were left, you know, where do we go? And there was this window of opportunity for people to just, especially being in Cornwall, the rural locations, that you could go off and have a party somewhere beautiful, the backdrop of the coast or wherever it was, just and dance the night away, somewhere remote where there wasn't any disturbances.
I was inside DJing, and I remember Kevin coming in and saying, Jamiroquai's here, Jamiroquai's here. So, sort of, it was my 19th birthday, by the way, so I was just ecstatic because I quite liked Jamiroquai, you know. And he arrived in some sort of flash vehicle, apparently, you know, somebody said, and then parked in a muddy field with it.
Paul Kelly was a free party organiser and part of the crew Looney Tunes. They were arrested on suspicion of illegally abstracting electricity in '92, with the case thrown out after it came to light that they had since paid the electricity board and there was no risk to human life.
police really didn't approve of it because there was no sort of like laws regarding it, or they didn't really know sort of how to control it or what to do about it really. So we always played this sort of cat and mouse game with the police, where if we could set up a party before they arrived and get it going, the party would sort of go on. But if they found us setting up a party before the people were there, then they'd arrest us to sort of prevent the party from going on. And as the years went on, I mean, I think we did it for about 3.5 years, really. Sort of quite successfully and quite regularly. This obviously angered the police quite a bit, I would imagine. They spent a considerable amount of time and resources trying to stop us from doing the parties over the 3.5 years that we did them. And I think they finally got to a point where they thought, that they had us and that was going to be it. So after the case, when we came outside, we were approached by someone very high up in the police force at the time, and basically told in no uncertain terms that if we were to continue doing any of the parties anymore, that all our equipment would be not only confiscated but impounded indefinitely, so we wouldn't get it back, and our lives would be made very hard to live. Suddenly everything had got really, really serious and really, really real. I basically had my name put on a list as a subversive and couldn't DJ in Cornwall for 3 years afterwards, really, I think. And all the venues and club owners and places in Cornwall were advised not to have anything to do with us because we were, troublemakers.
Following Paul's court case, other crews, including South West Underground, became the next generation of free party organisers until the late 1990s. The Criminal Justice Bill, enacted in 1994, set the precedent for increased pressure from law enforcement to stamp out illegal gatherings known today as the rave scene.